everybody, it's Jo Parrott, founder of the Ladies Working Dog Group. Are you feeling stuck with your gun dog training? Trust me, you're not alone, and that's exactly why you need to be here. Every week, we're bringing you the best tips and hacks to make training your gun dog easy peasy. We'll keep it straightforward, no fuss, just actionable guidance that you can put straight to use. So let's get started. Hello and welcome to another episode of Found It Fetched It. My name is Jo Parrott, I'm the founder of the Ladies Working Dog Group. This week, for our podcast, we thought we'd do something slightly different. Last week on our Facebook page, we did 5 live video trainings. The people who joined us for them really enjoyed them, so we thought we'd do something a little bit different this week. We've pulled the audio off those videos and put them here for you to enjoy. In between each video, you'll hear a small pause, a little bit of silence, and then the next one will start. We really hope you enjoy them, and we shall speak to you all next week. I've just done this whole conversation where I thought I was on Facebook and Instagram. I wasn't on Facebook at all, and on Instagram I was just a blurry square. So I can't do anything about that, but I'll go through it again. In some ways, it's like calmed my nerves about going live in front of you all, and hopefully now you can all see me. Yes, Charlotte just told me I'm now live, so I feel a little better. Okay, so let's start with saying hello. My name is Jo, I'm the founder of the Ladies Working Dog Group. As you can see, I am not a complete professional in this whole live video thing, but I'm learning as I go along, as we've done everything else in the Ladies Working Dog Group. So, you know me guys, I like to be really open and really honest about everything that I go through and share that with you, and hopefully you'll resonate with some of you. So if what I'm saying is resonating with you and you're like, yeah, I understand, please put some likes and loves and stuff like that in the comments. Keep me going, because slightly flustered, slightly embarrassed that I've done this once to nobody at all. Maybe a square on Instagram with 18,000 people. Okay, so what I want to talk to you about is a lot of people know my journey, my story, where I started with gun dogs, but they don't really understand a little bit before that. So I'm going to touch on that really quickly, okay? And before my gun dogs, in 2010, I was diagnosed with a brain tumor. Lots of people already know that. And I had a huge operation, and then it grew back. And between then and 2015, when I first went out with my gun dog, I lost myself. I didn't even just lose myself. The old Jo had gone, right? So instead of the old Jo that everybody knew, 2010 and beyond, backwards, there was this new Jo, and every time I went out to the house, I had to pretend to be the old Jo. So I would go out and I'd have to put on almost like a performance. I would have to pretend to be Jo, really confident, really happy. A bit like the Jo you see now, but there was lots of internal things that were slightly different. And it was exhausting. It was like being on stage. A bit like it is with you guys now. Everything had to be over animated. I had to work a little bit harder just to fight my nerves enough to be out there doing those things. And to the rest of the world, I looked absolutely normal, whatever that is, but internally inside it was killing me. So when I used to walk back in the house, I used to be like, oh my God, I can be myself. And as that continued, what happened was being in the house became a far better place than being outdoors. So if you've ever had any sort of mental health issues or anxiety, put love or heart or or something, let me know that you understand what I'm on about with this, right? So as being in the house became the easier place to be, the more comfortable place to be, I went out less. My family, my husband, my mum, my dad, they all were really worried. They were like, she's not going out, this isn't who she is, she's very isolated. So I grew up in a small holding. I used to go out with horses with my dad, and my dad was like, you're coming out on an estate with me with the dogs. And I was like, no, I'm not, I have no interest. And he was like, yeah, you've got to come. So I checked on the worst clothing, probably not at all appropriate, went out with him thinking I'm not going to like it, but I'll just do it to stop him going on to me, because he had a very large personality. You weren't going to say no to him. So anyway, I went out, and for the first time in a long time, I was out with his trialing dog Grace. She made me look epic. I had no clue what was going on, and for the first time in a long time, I could be new Jo, if that makes sense, right? So I could just be me. I could literally watch her work. I could breathe, and for the first time being outside the house, I felt comfortable, shall we say. So I did what most of us do. I was like, I love this, I want my own dog. So Dad got me a Cocker Spaniel pup. If I know what I know now, it wouldn't have been a Cocker Spaniel pup, but it was. And to begin with, it was super fun. I took him everywhere. He was great. As he hit like a little bit older, like I think he was about 7 or 8 months, he became harder and harder for me to work. I didn't know what I was doing. He didn't know what he was doing, but he thought he knew what he was doing. I was told I had an operation coming up, so it was January 2017, and I thought, this isn't for me. I'm not going to do this. Sold him to a beater, to a gamekeeper who absolutely loves him, and I thought, that's it. But my dad being my dad and my family being my family, they didn't want to see me give up something that it looked like I was enjoying. So basically what they said to me is, Dad said to me, take Jess. So Jess was a bit she had in his kennels. She got on with Dad, but she didn't really love Dad. He wasn't super bonded with her. Take Jess, she'll be great. Took in the house, me and her fell in love. We did fall in love, and we did everything together. She gave me confidence because she sort of knew the game, and as my confidence grew, my skills levels grew. And as all this was going on, alongside, there was this little Facebook group called the Ladies Working Dog Group that was growing alongside it. And inside they were the most amazing women, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. These women were like helping each other, supporting each other, being so kind to each other, being so kind to me. There was no such thing as a stupid question. We were all thriving off each other's energy. And once all this was going on and life was going great, there was part of me that was getting more and more angry. And part of me that was getting more and more angry was at the dog training industry. Now, let me say this as a caveat. Not all the dog training industry. Some of the dog training industry, some of the dog trainers, some of the gun dog trainers, especially the ones we work with, are incredibly good, incredibly wonderful people, right? But there was a lot, and you guys know them, and again, put some likes, some loves, some angry faces, whatever you want. There were people out there who were crucifying new people into the sport. They were going for them for dog training, they were giving them a boost that their dog was too much for them, that they should know what they were doing. And instead of building their skill level and building their self-confidence, they were trying to build their skill level and smashing their self-confidence apart. And I was getting more and more angry and more and more frustrated because I was thinking, you're not doing what these people need you to do. You're not doing what Dad had done for me, which is keep going, you can do this, keep going. Because right at the beginning, you guys know, I know, it's frigging hard, and it's not like a little bit hard, it's like a proper load of hard. Because two of you don't know what's meant to be going on, you or your pup or your dog. So watching all those women having like a really dreadful experience was really frustrated me. I was getting more and more frustrated, and I was seeing men and women. It wasn't just the women in my group. I was seeing men getting like almost like being attacked, and I didn't like it. And I wanted to do something. I wanted to do something that had a huge impact on the whole industry, not just for my ladies, not for just the people I know, not for just the people who are listening on this, but for everyone. So on the December the 6th, I'm going to be sharing a masterclass. Like, you've probably seen some links to it. If you haven't, like, just literally pop the word frazzled in the comments and we'll send you the link to it. And this is a free webinar. This masterclass is all about how to go from being really frazzled, like we all know what that feels, to being really focused. And I'm going to do it in less than 30 minutes. And I'm going to talk at this speed because I'm Welsh and I can do that. But this is who the webinar's for, right? So if it's this you, like you really want to succeed in your dog training, but once you're learning your skills, you need help with your self-confidence. You need help knowing you can do this. You need help for not walking away from this, right? And the webinar is going to cover from how you get from where you are now to that point, the point you all want to go. You all are dog trainers. You might not have the label of professional dog trainer because you're just training your dog, and that's absolutely fine. But if you want to get to a point where you're like looking at your dog and thinking, I did that, and I'm proud of myself for doing that, and we've worked through all the problems, we've worked all through all the difficulties, and I'm here, just pop the frazzled in, get on the webinar, we're going to go through some amazing stuff with you. So, those that were listening to me saying all this on Instagram 15 minutes ago, if you are listening, or if you're on Instagram, if you go find that live, where there is none on my face, you can write frazzled in the comments, I'll automatically send you the link. If you're on Facebook, which I hope you all are now and you're all listening to me, if you're commenting frazzled, I will manually go through them because I'm not tech savvy enough, as you've all just seen, to get it to automatically work. And I will literally send you all the link for it, okay? It's going to be fab, it's going to be fun, it's not going to take up a lot of time. And the reality of it is, I think at the end of it, you'll be like, I'm so pleased that I went on that webinar. I'm so pleased I listened to that one thing that's just going to help me to move forward and not give up in 2024, because I really don't want that for you guys. I really, really want you to have what I had, which is that voice. And that voice now, my dad's not here, he passed away in 2019. That voice has to be inside me now. I have to be my biggest cheerleader, and I want you guys to learn how to be your biggest cheerleaders, because it doesn't matter then if nobody around you is doing what you're doing. You can keep yourself going. So I hope you've enjoyed my very quick, very fast, very Welsh live. I'm going to stop it now, and hopefully I shall speak to you all. We're doing these lives every night. I'm going to cover other bits of the topics, like other bits of like my journey, each night, 8 p.m. on here. It will be on time, I promise, because now I know what I'm doing. I know how to knock it on. And I shall speak to you all. Have a lovely evening, and I shall see you all very soon. Gentlemen, hope you were all well. Hope you've had a fantastic day. My name is Jo Parrott. I'm the founder of the Ladies Working Dog Group. Hopefully today I've managed to go live correctly in the business page, and hopefully I'm talking to people on Instagram as well. Instagram people, you're a little bit below the Facebook camera, so I'm going to try and flick back and forth, okay? And I hope that's not too distracting for everybody. So as I said, I'm Jo, the founder of the Ladies Working Dog Group, and I wanted to talk to you all tonight about the overwhelm some of us feel when we're first starting out. And that might be first starting out like first day, first week, but it could be like first year, first couple of years, okay? I can remember what it was like right at the beginning. The feelings of overwhelm were massive. I was consistently thinking, I can't do this, I can't do this. I don't know how I am meant to control, guide an animal that is 10 yards from me, 100 yards from me, when it isn't clear to me what it is I'm meant to be doing myself. And it was incredibly frightening. Letting the dog off the lead was incredibly frightening, being in open spaces, because you're thinking, what if this isn't right? What if my dog doesn't respond to what I say? And it was that sense of panic, I suppose. Like, I've got 3 children. I say children, they're 14, they're 18 and 23 now, so they're not young, but I can remember what they were like as youngsters, when you're like, are they going to come back to me? And that was in some ways a little bit easier because you were in controlled environments like supermarkets or whatever. But with an animal, that animal sometimes doesn't have that connection with you where it feels the same need to come back as maybe a toddler does. So you don't know what you don't know, and this is something that we tell our group all the time. And when you start out, a lot of that overwhelm comes from that place. You don't know what you are meant to be doing, and therefore you constantly feel lost at sea, for want of a better word. It is incredibly common to feel completely lost, completely overwhelmed, completely out of your depth. And it's perfectly normal to not feel like you're making progress with your dog. You just like look around you and you think, oh, so-and-so got the dog at the same time, look at that dog. Or you see somebody on social media, like social media is great for it, isn't it? I think making you feel completely incapable with your own animal. Because you see these little dogs doing massive things at like 6 months, things like that, and you're just like, wow, I am so behind the curve here. But the reality of it is, we've got a podcast on this, Found It, Fetched It. If you go onto there, you'll find an episode, I think it's number 4, called The Working Dog Age Race. Everybody feeling there's a big rush to get that sort of point where the dog is responding perfectly to your cues. And we're all in such a big, massive rush to get there, that in doing so, A, we don't enjoy the journey, but B, we miss out some really important steps along the way. The feelings that we have don't reflect our lack of ability, okay? Although we feel like it does, it's part of the learning curve, it's part of the learning journey. My dad used to say to me all the time, 2 minds working as one. We used to say when we were on horses, 2 minds working as one, and the one on top's the idiot. And I used to laugh and joke with him, but that is what he was trying to get across to me, I suppose. And it's the same with dogs as it is with horses. There's 2 of you trying to connect together to work towards a common goal, a common command, a common cue. Our emotions play a massive part in completely making or breaking that journey. So if we are feeling constantly overwhelmed, constantly flustered, feeling like we don't know what we're doing, we tend to pass that on to our dogs a little bit. They're incredibly sensitive to our emotions, and one of the questions is probably always worth asking yourself is what's happening with my dog being caused by the feelings I'm having right now? And a lot of times it can be. The dog can sense you're nervous, the dog can sense you're concerned, all those different things. You're passing that all down through the lead, through your behaviour, through your body cues, and you can either make the dog switch off to you or start worrying and getting nervous around you, and that's really important to think about. So recognising and identifying that your emotions are affecting your dog is a huge part in the journey, but it's also a great place to start as well, because your emotions are going to have a huge different reaction on your body, on your dog's responses. You're working towards a deep emotional bond with your dog, okay, and getting that level of being in tune with one another does mean that you're going to pick up on one another's behaviour. It does mean you're going to pick up on one another's body cues. You know, as you get to know your dog more, you will be able to notice sometimes before they do something what it is they're going to do. So like, give me some loves, give me some hearts. If you know or you felt it, you've been out with your dog, they've looked at you and you've thought, it's going to break you, and you know, you can feel it before it's actually happened. Like, it's such like a, it's lovely when it happens, even though it probably panics you at the time, because you think, oh my god, my dog's going to break and run in on something, or he's not going to do something. But think about what is going on there. That's the level of tuning into one another you're getting. So whilst it's frustrating they've done that, it does show that you're at least getting to the point when you know what's going on with your dog. And what tends to happen is we get anxious and frustrated and get really impatient, and those are the feelings then that really set us up for failure. You know, sometimes before the dog's done anything wrong, we've set the session up for failure because we are acting in a way that's going to affect the dog's behaviour, and it's not conducive to a learning environment for one of you to be incredibly wound. The other dog, you know, the dog picks up on it, the dog gets wound, you get more wound, and it's like a vicious circle that's never going to end. There are some sort of like common myths that gun dogs need you to be strict and authoritative and be that way with them. And as far as I've seen, and as far as our group talk about, and as far as most people who do really well when they talk about their dogs, that isn't what you need. That's almost the behaviours that cause that anxiety in the dog. You don't want a fearful dog. You want a dog that wants to work with you, that wants to be engaged with you. Like, you know what I'm talking about here. You want a dog that you see out with people where they're just so much in tune, and it looks and it feels absolutely fabulous. So positive effects from calmness, from confidence, they are the emotions that you want to get across to your dog. And you sort of see it all the time when people say, no, you shouldn't lead your dog. Well, yeah, in some ways you should lead your dog, because a leader instills calmness and confidence in those under them. It doesn't mean bully your dog, it means help and guide your dog. And I think that's something that we need to work with, so the dog can look to us and say, what's next? And we can easily and clearly tell them what that's going to be. Each gun dog is absolutely unique, okay? We say in our group all the time, you hear our experts saying it all the time, train the dog in front of you. It doesn't matter what that dog is, what breed that dog is, what it should behave like. Work with what's in front of you, because that way you make sure that you train the dog in the perfect way for that dog. Does that make sense? I hope that does. And it's with patience and consistency and positive reinforcement that we help our dogs to move forward. But patience and consistency comes from us being in control of our emotions before we try to go there with the dog. So it's important to maintain our composure, taking deep breaths, like even as something as simple as like counting to 7 as you breathe in, counting to 11 as you breathe out. You know, just calm yourself down a little bit. And if you are getting wound up and frustrated, popping your dog on the lead for a 5-minute sit is actually training in itself. The dog's learning to sit calmly while you control and compose yourselves, okay? So don't think, oh my god, I'm this is bad, I've got to put them back on the lead, I have to stop a minute. It's good, it's all training. Your dog is always learning. So some simple strategies to help you to get some clarity and move forward with your dog and get away from this like being lost and being confused. Plan your sessions, okay? Now that doesn't mean you have to get out like an entire like notebook and write tons and tons of stuff. Just plan it out. We've got a thing we call the quick plan pad, and you just write down what you're going to do, your cues, your distractions, your distances, and stuff like that, your durations, and we write it all out and just go out and do it, okay? It can just be a piece of paper. Just plan it out, so a little bit of what you're going to do, where you're going to do it. So when you get to the field, you're not like, oh, what shall I do now? What shall I do now? And like, give me some like laughy hearts or thumbs up or likes, or even just comment in the comments. Do you know what it feels like when you get to the field and you're a little bit like, what am I doing? Like, you do one or two things and you're like, mind blank, like, what am I going to do next? And there's thousands of things we could do next, but because we haven't given ourselves a simple plan, we have nothing to follow. Use a training journal to track progress. So when you get back from the field, just like sit down and write down what happened, like what went well. Like, it's an easy thing to do. What went well, what didn't go so well. If you're using the pad, you've probably given some stars, like 2 out of 5 or 5 out of 5, and that's giving you a feeling when you get back, like, oh, the dog's like nailing that, the dog's got this test. Or you might be like, oh, actually that really needs some work, and that can then help you on your next session. Stick to one word commands for simplicity. Now, I hold my hands up, and like the ladies in our group will tell you, I'm an over talker. I like literally have conversations with my dogs. Sometimes when I train with people, they're like, stop the conversations. And I'm like, okay, I will stop it. But I'm a very chatty Cathy, as you can tell from like this. But make it easy. Try not to be like over bombarding the dogs with words. Simple, clear, and be clear in your own head what they're going to be. Like, there's nothing worse, and I've done it as well, where you're like, sit, stay, stop, like you're just like barking 1,000 different cues one after another and hope that something will stick. And the reality is that's not what the dog needs from you. He needs one simple cue so that you can follow it or not follow it, and you can sort it out from there. Pay attention to your tone, your body language, and your facial expressions. You know, I think our dogs can definitely, without doubt, read what mood we're in. Even if it's not a mood that we're in with the dog, you can be frustrated walking in from work and the dog will like, look at you, and you sort of feel like that connection again, like they know that you're not calm, you're not happy, things like that. So think about what your body tone is telling them. If you're looking angry, why would the dog come back to you? You know, where is that calmness, where is the confidence, where is that patience that will encourage the dog to want to be with you and spend time with you? Celebrate your small achievements. Like, we're all pushing for this perfect gun dog. There is no perfect gun dog. Even the best gun dogs run by the best trialers, if you talk to them, there were times that didn't go exactly to plan, and that's okay, because you are both two different creatures. You both have minds, you both have thoughts, you both have emotions, and it's not always going to be both of you working together. We're all allowed a bad day, the dog included. So celebrate the small achievements. If he's done something great today, you know, be really, really pleased that. Be really pleased. Celebrate it for yourself and celebrate it for the dog. Like, you taught the dog that. So take a moment to think, actually, I am proud of myself for this right now. And like, pop some like hearts or loves or comments or anything in and say, you know, how are you? Tell me actually in words. How do you respond when your dog does well? Are you like, oh, good dog? But do you ever stop for a moment and say, good training on my behalf? I did good at this and I should be proud of myself for this. Because as we build in the dog's confidence, we also need to build our own confidence too, and that's something I don't think we do a lot of. It's one of the things I see, the weakest thing in our group, I suppose, is women not taking the time to be proud or recognise their own achievements with their dogs. Maintain regular, short, consistent sessions, okay? So that doesn't mean you have to be out in the field every single day for an hour doing drills. That's not what this is about, you know. But just maintain regular stuff, and like, again, go and listen to our podcast. One of the things I think one of the experts feedback to us all the time is we can sometimes have tend of an all or nothing attitude. Flat out training, not training at all. You know, and then we feel guilt and anger when we don't train because we're frustrated with ourselves. We're very good at beating ourselves up for that, but we don't like find this middle ground. And this middle ground isn't about you being like always on it, always outside. It could be like making your dog sit while you like boil the kettle. It could be heel work around the house. It could be a recall from a different part of the house. Different things like that. Little things you can build into your day rather than sometimes trying to find time in your day to go out and train. So I hope that makes sense as well. And remind yourselves, you are not alone. Like, if you look how many people are listening to this right now, whether you're like on Instagram or whether you're on Facebook, have a look at how many other people are watching. You're not alone in this journey. You might not know these people, but we're all going through this together, okay? Be around people who encourage you to keep on going. So I hope that's been really helpful to you today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Tomorrow I'm going to be back 8 o'clock with another live. We're going to be discussing stuff again. Hopefully most of you joined in with us last night and you enjoyed my craziness yesterday, because I was a little bit late to the party. Had to do it twice. You'll have to go back and watch if you didn't. But literally, please join into our webinar on the 6th of December. It's called From Frazzle to Focus for Trainer. There should be a link. I think I've mastered it now on Facebook. There is a link at the top of the comment section. It's pinned there. So you can just use that link, or it should be after this call. I'll put it into the description for this live. There'll be a link. Just go along, register. It's a totally free webinar, 30 minutes of training that is going to help you like really make a plan, 3-step method to get from being really, really frazzled to really, really focused, okay? And do it as fast as you can. Make sure you do it, like, try to do it tonight, because the reality of it is by tomorrow, I don't know what your life is like. In fact, probably within the hour, something will come up. I would have started watching something and I forgot something. How many times do we do that? And we're like, oh, I meant to do that. Oh, I meant to do this. And before we've missed it, the opportunity has come and gone. So register as soon as you possibly can. And thank you for listening to me. I've like really, really enjoyed it. It's been really like a big step for me when we talk about like taking ourselves out of our comfort zones. I talk all the time to our members within the LWDG. I absolutely love it. We coach twice a month. It's absolutely fab. In fact, I'm like really, really engaged with it all. But for me, that's been my comfort zone for quite a while now. So coming out here, talking on like my business page has been like a big step out. And my team and my members, they've been there helping me and supporting me with that, and we are here to help you and support you with your gun dog. So hopefully you found that incredibly helpful. I'm going to close this down now on Instagram and then on Facebook. Thank you very, very much for your time. I hope to see you all next week tomorrow at 8. Oh, and if you're in Instagram and you're listening, if you write frazzled in the comments, that's all you've got to do. Is easy peasy. We auto send you the link so that you make sure that you get it straight to your messages. Simple way to do it. Okay, you don't have to go searching for a link. Just write the word frazzled and we'll go from there. So I'm going to end it on Facebook now. Thank you all for a lovely evening, and I'll see you all tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Good night. Good night, Facebook. Good night, Instagram. Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is well. Hopefully I am live on Facebook and I am live on Instagram. If you see me looking back and forth, I'm just making sure. I tried to give you all eye contact. I watched last night and I realized I was very much like looking very much at Facebook and ignoring people on Instagram, so I'm very, very sorry for that. So welcome. It's lovely to see you all. Hello, Cocker Spaniels, and hello, Ruths anyway. I can see quite a lot of what's going on Instagram because it's very, very interactive. I don't see as much on Facebook, but welcome to everybody if you are here. If you've been on like day 1 or day 2 or both, can you just drop it in the comments, like day 1 or day 2 or both, whichever one you've been on, so that I can get a bit of an idea how many of you have seen the 2 previous lives to know where we're going with this. So, my name is Jo Parrott. I'm the founder of the Ladies Working Dog Group. I'll say that every evening, not because I think you've all forgotten, but because obviously there's lots of new people joining us all the time. So, I want to talk tonight about something you can do that makes gun dog training a breeze. Now, you're probably thinking, there is nothing you can do, Joanne, that makes gun dog training a breeze. But let me tell you a little bit of a story, and then I'll get to the point of where I want to get to with this about how you can make it easier for yourselves, okay? Because I see all the ladies in our group, I talk to lots of people, and a lot of stuff that you have issues with is not created by yourself, but it's inadvertently getting you to a very upset situation when it doesn't need to. So let me start in a bit of a sad story. So in 2019, some of you may know, my dad passed away from cancer. And in the months leading up to his death, it was a horrific time, and for any family who's been through anything like it and lost somebody they loved, you know how horrible it is. It's horrific, okay? But we had these dogs. Now Ella, my spaniel, had been born in end of 2018, so she was a baby. So here she is, she's new, she's a pup, I bred her, I love her to death, she's fabulous, she's living in the house with her mum, it's all great. And then this whole thing hits us with Dad, and it happened like that he went downhill quite quickly. So he was spending a lot of time going back and forth to the hospital. I was leaving the dogs for a lot of time, the family was leaving the dogs for a lot of time. So Ella and Jess went out into the kennels, they'd been back and forth there, so it's nothing new to them. But it got to a point where instead of me training for hours like I'd been doing with my dad for years, it became a point where the dogs were fed, the dogs were watered, the dogs were cleaned out, and then they were put back in. It was like we were doing our best to keep them alive, and that was like the most we could do. And I, you know, put like a yes or a like or comment or something, or an understanding, if you know what I'm on about, right? Your life is so busy with whatever you've got going on that you really don't have time to give the dogs the time they deserve. And you feel so guilty. You feel guilty if you're not where you're meant to be. You're guilty if you're not with the dogs. It's a horrific place to be. So anyway, Ella's sort of there. Dad passes in the October 2019, and I tried to get myself slowly back to the point of normality, whatever that looks like. And normality doesn't exist at this point for me. So the dogs, Ella and Jess, come back in the house. And I realised in the time that she has been up there, Ella has become very much an independent thinking dog. So her bond with me has broken completely. Jess is still there. She's an older dog. She understands the game. She's very calm. She was brought up in kennels, so her being in and out of that didn't bother her. But to Ella, I don't exist. Her mum is her world. I am there. I am not important to her. So Ella's really sharp. She picks things up really quickly, but there were certain things you couldn't do, and one of those things was heel work. If I took her off the lead, she'd fly away from me, like she'd run off with the other dogs, with her brother, because my dad had kept her brother. And whatever I did, I just couldn't get her to walk on off lead, right? And on lead, she would take us to the end of the lead, and she would literally strangle herself. She would make the most horrific noises. And so if I put her on the lead, I felt guilty, and I had all this other stuff going on as well. And if I took her off the lead, she was gone. And I tried everything. I talked to the experts, and I was going through things, and I was thinking, this dog is never going to get it. Like, what is I'm doing wrong? That was added to my guilt and my upset and dealing with everything else that was going on. I was so completely frustrated by it all, right? So at some point I realised that this was going to be a long-term journey with Ella on this. And I literally thought my only answer to this is to go back to basics. Like when she was a puppy, what would I have done? And the reality of it is, it was hours and hours and hours of the endless, most boring heel work. Now, put a thumbs up, put a I agree if you hate heel work or training for heel work. It's horrible, it's boring. You know, once the dog's got it, it's great, it's wonderful. But one on the journey is horrific, right? So we just went back to basics, and we just said in really easy, uninteresting environments doing loads and loads of heel work. And it has taken, so that's 2019, 2023 we are now. It has taken me that long to get our dog to a point where I am 90% happy. I can walk pretty much up the mountains and things like that. She'll stay around me off lead. She still doesn't really love if I put her a slip lead. She'll choke herself. If I take her onto a collar lead, she'll pretty much walk with me. So slip leads have to go out the window, and we have to walk on a collar lead. It's taken forever. Now, I could have given up. So many times I wanted to give up with it, right? But the reality of it is, we have to have persistence with it. But if we come at it with a sense of persistence, of every day is a learning day, every day we get a tiny bit better, and even if it's like one step better, we get better. And if we come through with a positive attitude, it makes us able to cope with what may be, regardless of what your dog is facing, a long journey. So some of you might be sitting there looking at a 3-year-old dog thinking, still not got that. It's got that great, and it's got that great, but that I cannot nail, and it's driving you mad. And that sort of madness, that getting angry and frustrated, isn't good for you, and it isn't good for the dog. We talked about this yesterday. The dog can pick up on your feelings. So you sort of like make a self-perpetuating cycle. You expect the dog not to walk on the lead, the dog doesn't walk on the lead, you get reinforced the idea that the dog won't walk on the lead. Yeah, all agree with me, and you all staying with me this. So I want to talk to you today about how we get over this sort of mental block of frustration and move forward with an attitude of perseverance. So let's talk about some of the common hurdles you're probably facing with your dog, okay? Distractions in a new environment. Loads of dogs out the window, there they go, they've gone somewhere new, you've lost them. Inconsistent responses to commands, like one day you'll sit, the next day you won't. You know, what's going on with that? Fear and anxiety, taking your dog to places and you're just like, why is the dog worried here? What's going on here? Okay, so that might be something that's ongoing. You just can't put your finger on how to solve that problem for the dog. Regression in training, we see this loads of times. Loads of our group talk about it. Adolescence, you know, your dog was going really well, hits adolescence, oh my god, you go like 9 miles back. overexcitement and hyperactivity. Definitely across the breeds. We've got a podcast coming out about this, okay? About like all the breeds, how they're getting more hot-headed, more hyper, and that sort of hyperactivity is hard for us to deal with that sometimes and work through that and find a way of working with a dog that gets really, really excited really, really fast. Weather, that gets in our way all the time, and also our own learning curve. If you think about it, we don't know what we don't know. We covered that yesterday, and if you're suddenly facing all these things, all this frustration, and you don't know what you're meant to know anyway, it is what can feel like an insurmountable hurdle. So resilience in this is about your ability to bounce back, right? Now, a lot of people face their struggles with their dog and they think, I can't bounce back, I can't do this, I can't do this. And they make it very specific about them and the dog. But if you think back in your head and just stop for a minute and think of the times you have overcome other hurdles, not dog training hurdles, just hurdles in life. Somebody passing away, somebody being ill, losing your job, having to move home, loads of different things going on in your life that you've probably found resilience through and worked through. And if you look at it, you're really, really proud of yourself for what you managed to do at that point. Now take that, excuse me, take that strength, that resilience, and let's take that over to our dog training. Because if you can do it in one place, you can do it in another. Because humans, we can generalize, but we tend not to with our dog, and we tend not to when we're new to this. We basically say, I can't do this, I can't do this. Well, yes, you can. Put a positive perspective on it. Like literally, Ella could have broke me had I consistently thought about it in a negative way, okay? But I had to keep on looking for the positives in it. Okay, we've managed this today. We've managed this today. Or look what we've managed today. How can I do this? I kept on looking as well for different ways, adapting to my dog. So for Ella, a collar rather than a slip lead. Looking for different ways that would work for her. Because we tell the group all the time, every dog is different, train the dog in front of you. And in order to train the dog in front of you, you've got to look at them and say, well, this is my dog, and it doesn't matter if it's a spaniel, that doesn't mean it's going to act like a spaniel, and if it's a lab, it doesn't mean it's going to act like a lab. Train what you see in front of you, okay? And it's trial and error for all of you. You've got to find the way to work with your dog, and we can help you with that, and your trainers help you with that, and other people, and your friends, your peer group, your tribe, they'll help you with that. But you've got to keep on pushing through this perseverance and positivity. Think, right, let's go again. Every morning, new day, let's go again. So I think perseverance is the one thing that if we come into our training and say, whatever happens today, I'm persevering with this. I'm going to make it happen. If I set myself a long-term goal, this is the long-term goal, I'm going to get it. It doesn't matter how many days it takes. It doesn't matter how much it takes to get there. I'm going to get there. And I'm going to be patient and calm through it. That doesn't mean you're never going to get frustrated, because we all get frustrated. But just like, shake it off. Like literally, like we talked about it last night. Shake it off and then go again, okay? And perseverance is the one thing that will get you through this. Like, for those who succeed, they persevered. So hopefully from tonight, I'm going to need to go in a minute because we're going to move on to our Ask Us Anything within our LWDG members group. But if you take one thing from tonight, I want you to take away from the fact that you can do this. You have succeeded before in many other different things in your life. You can do this, okay? So if you agree with me, if you've got it, just literally, I want to hear and see in the comments, I agree, I can do this, thank you, I know I can do this. You can do this, and find the tribe around you that's going to help you see that you can do that too. Hopefully, lots of you have already signed up now. I think there's over 600 odd of you signed up for our 30-minute webinar on the 6th of December, all about going from a focus to frazzle. Oh my God, my words are everywhere. Frazzle to focused trainer. Hopefully you'll all join us for it. If you haven't got the link yet, the link is at the top of the comments. It's pinned there for you. You should be able to see it at any time. And if you are on Facebook, pop frazzles into the comments. Oh my God, I'm everywhere with this at the end of today, isn't it? That's thinking about the Ask Us Anything. If you're on Facebook, go to the top of the link, the top of the page, and this link is posted. If you are on Instagram, type in frazzled and it'll automatically send you the link. It'll be far better at doing it than I wasn't getting those last couple of words out. So I hope you all join up. I hope you all join me for the webinar. Emma, yes, you are absolutely right. We can all do this. Vicky, I hope I can do this. Not I hope I can do it, Vicky. You can do this. You guys have got this, right? I have absolute faith in you. Hopefully you'll all join me tomorrow, 8 o'clock, for our 4th live, and then we've got one final one on Friday, and then I'll see you all on the 6th for the webinar. If you are one of our members, I will be having a little drink, and then I will be joining you all for Ask Us Anything. See you all later. Thank you very much, and good night. Good night all. Good evening everyone, I hope you are well, I hope you've had a fabulous day. I'm just going live, I hope, perfectly on Facebook and on Instagram. If I'm looking between the two of you like, where is Joe's eyes going, it's because I'm trying to make sure I make eye contact with you guys on Facebook and obviously on Instagram as well. So, for those of you who've not been on one of my lives this week, my name is Jo Parrott, I'm the founder of the Ladies Working Dog Group. I don't normally do lives on our business page, but I wanted to come on this week and just talk to people about different things. So if you are joining us for the first time, this is going to be one of 5, okay? So I've done Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You can go back and watch those. They're on our business page. But you can also catch me tonight, of course, and also tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. So tonight we're going to be talking about no time to train your gun dog, then do these 3 things. Now, I can guarantee most of you listening are in the headspace of how am I going to train my dog and do all the other things I've got to do in life. Because the reality of it is, we are really busy people, aren't we? We have so many like titles we can put ourselves against. Like, for example, I'm a mum, I'm a wife, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm a business owner. You know, I've got all these things that I've got to be like juggling at once, okay? And if you've like understand what I'm on about, like give me a heart, give me some likes, write something in the comments. I've been loving going through the comments like after the call, because it's only a short call, but I like to go through and read what you've all written and then just like answer you and talk to you as well, because obviously this is short, so I can't really get to like answer your specific things. But please feel free to write in the comments both on Instagram and on Facebook, and I will definitely personally go through and read them all. So there definitely isn't enough time to train our gun dogs effectively, and life's demands, and they are demands, aren't they? They're not like we can choose a lot of things we've got to do. Some of us have got to go to work, some of us have to do responsibilities, look after the kids, clean the house, whatever those responsibilities are, we've got to make sure that they come first. Now, the care of our dogs always comes first, like making sure they are fed, well looked after, their health is fine. But sometimes training is that one thing that we sort of put from the essential like pocket into the desirable pocket. Yeah, you know what I mean with that? It's like, okay, I'd like to go train today, but I've got all these other things. And that's why for a lot of our members, training gets sort of pushed into the weekends when the demands on them as a person are not so high. And there's a lot of guilt with that. We touched upon this last night. The guilt that people feel is like, oh, that dog hasn't been trained again today. That dog hasn't been trained again today. And it builds up and it makes you feel quite bad about it. So when I started the Ladies Working Dog Group, as I touched on the first day, this was meant to be my way out of the house, if that makes sense. I was like staying in the house all the time and I needed something that got me out and got into the fresh air. And for a lot of the beginning years, that's exactly how it worked out. But as the demands of the Ladies Working Dog Group grew, it sort of had an opposite effect. I spent all day editing videos, doing podcast recordings, all those things. So for people who don't know our organisation, there isn't like me in an office with like 20 other people doing it all. There's me. So I do quite a lot of it. We're really blessed to have experts that do quite a lot of it. We're really lucky to have ladies who help us to do other little bits of it, okay? But when it comes down to like getting things out, getting them out on time, emails, all those types of things, there's me. So I now happily take on quite a lot of pressure, but whilst I'm doing all those things and they're taking loads of hours, it means that my dogs aren't getting out as much. So it is quite a hard balancing act. So for me, there were some couple of things that I changed, especially after they diagnosed my tumour that I've got currently, that I said, right, I've got to make space. I've got to make space in there for me to get out with the dogs, for my mental health, but also for the dogs to get out for the dogs, if that makes sense. So first of all, I want you to take on board a couple of things. Not every day is going to be perfect, and that is absolutely okay. Because we tend to go, oh, I've done great, I've done bad, and that's the worst. And we really like break ourselves for it. It's the small efforts that your dog needs, and it's the small efforts that you can grow from, okay? So we get this idea in our heads that training has to be like 2 hours long, focused, driven, perfect. And that's not the truth at all. I know from when Dad was alive, Dad had quite a lot of dogs. So each dog, if I put together like the time spent one-to-one with that dog, working that dog, it's probably about 10-15 minutes. Did the dog watch and was the dog out while other dogs were running? Yes, of course. But the actual one-to-one stuff, it wasn't that much, and his dogs were incredibly well trained. And a lot of what we do needs to have self-forgiveness put into it, because say for example you think, okay, well I've only got 10 minutes today and that's all I can do, and in those 10 minutes you just do like a few throws, a few retrieves, a few heel work, a few directions, that you have to start building compassion in yourself, that is enough, and that is better than nothing. We try to go for this like all or nothing mentality, perfect or dreadful mentality. There is this middle ground. I talk loads and loads, the experts talk about it all the time, this middle ground where you can find balance. So here are my 3 essential tips for this, okay? Short and sweet sessions are absolutely fine. Now, if you look at humans, and I know I keep on referring to dogs and humans, we're not exactly the same, but there are a lot of things that are the same, and learning is one of them. We as humans can only take in information for about 20 minutes, new information, and then we need a little bit of time to process. Our dogs are very, very similar. They don't need hours and hours. They need a little bit, time to process, a little bit, time to process. So when you go out and you do like a 10 or 15 minute session, you are not letting the dog down. In fact, you're probably working within its optimum learning window. So that's a really, really good thing to do. And it's also a good thing to do to maybe train for a couple of minutes in the morning, train for a couple of minutes at lunchtime if you've got that capability, and train a couple of minutes in the evening. That's even better. Little bits all the time, okay? Dogs don't have huge attention spans. They very much live in the present, okay? So we like thinking, oh, well, what did I do yesterday? What am I going to do tomorrow? What am I going to do tonight? Dogs don't work like that. They're very much in the moment. They're thinking about the moment. So anything you do in that moment is a bonus for the dog. It's very much quality over quantity, okay? So don't think, oh, if I go out and have an hour session and it's just dreadful and I'm thinking of all the things I should be doing and I'm not really focusing on the dog and I'm being sloppy with my training, that's not as much use to the dog as a quality 10-minute session where you're really, really focused. Now, I know we talked in some of our other videos about how we help our members. We've got the quick plan pad where they can write stuff down and they can just get out there and do it, okay? It's a notepad that allows you to set up your entire day, and they write them all out and then they go out and do it, and it's absolutely fabulous. Or we've got like a planner, but you don't need those things. If you've got them, great, but if you don't, just get a notepad and say, right, going out for 10 minutes, I'm going to do this, this, this and this, and then I'm getting back in, and then you are able to leave go of the sense of guilt. The dog gets trained, which the dog is really, really happy with. It's mentally worked its brain, and then it comes back and it sits in and has a little think about it, which is absolutely fabulous for the dog. And also, if you do shorter sessions when needed, it gives reduced stress on you, and reduced stress on you means reduced stress on the dog, because the reality is what we feel our dogs pick up on. So if we're thinking, well, actually I can really easily manage a 15-minute session today, I've got time for that, you go out with a different mindset to if you go out there thinking, oh my God, how am I actually going to fit this in my day? If you go out there with a more balanced mindset, the dog is more balanced for you. So there's other things that we can do to incorporate our training into the day, okay? So we did I think it was like 28 days of Christmas last year with our members, and each day we put up like one little thing. It was like, go walk past the snowman. It wasn't as simple as that, but they were really, really simple things, and our group thrived on it. And the reason they thrived on it was because it was just little tiny things they could do in their day and then almost tick off. Now, I don't know about you guys, please like put a tick in the comments, or a yes, I'm the same. We like ticking things off. I have a to-do list. I love to tick things off on it because it just gives me a sense of accomplishment. So for you guys, if you think, well, actually, I just got to do a little bit every single day, you can just tick. Petra, the Christmas challenge was this. It was, Petra, it was absolutely brilliant. We have got another thing like that coming up for Christmas, so our members, don't panic, we've got something coming up for you. Yes, Helen, we are going to repeat the Advent training calendar. It's going to be slightly different this time, but it's going to be just as good, if not better. So yeah, to just doing those little things every single day makes a massive difference to your dog, because consistency is what makes us, I think it's what makes us experts, and not experts as in, oh, if you're consistent for a week, you're going to be an expert. But consistent training gets us in this pattern, this rhythm, okay? And our memories learn and our behaviour learns, and we we refine our behaviour because we've got that like consistent thing going on all the time. You know, if you think about something as simple as cleaning your teeth, was probably hard to get for your mum to get you to do when you were younger. It's like simple now, you just do it, and it's just, you just gotta flow with it. It's easy, it's automatic, and that's through consistency. So consistency in anything becomes the same. We all know this with driving along. You know, you've left one place 20 miles later, you're like, how did I get here? And you know, we shouldn't really do that, but we do. Our body takes over for us, and if we do things consistently, we can do that with our dog training, and we can get the same results. The other thing is as well, it's very easy to be precise over short amounts of time. So when you go to the gym and they say, like, think about your form, think about how you do this, it's very easy when we're out training our dogs to be very thoughtful of our body's behaviour. You know, how are we acting? What are we doing? Are we being clear to the dog? And it's easier for us to do that on a short amount of time, because for the same as it's hard for the dog to take in anything over 20 minutes, same for us. So anything where you're asking your body to do something over long times, it gets fatigued, it can't do it properly. So it's really important that you have clear objectives, go out with them, be consistent in your short sessions. And then if on the weekend you can suddenly put in an hour or 2 hours, great, that's absolutely great. But if you can't, that's great too, because you never set yourself up for the week, you never set yourself up to fail by having these big long sessions. You will release the guilt off yourself and you'll feel so much better. So hopefully now, going forward from tonight, starting tomorrow, just write a few things down on your pad or on your note and just say, right, I'm just going to go out and do those couple of things, take them off, come back and give yourself like a little round of applause. Like, yeah, you did it, because I guarantee you, you will move forward far faster. You will literally escalate the speed you go forward with tiny sessions. So I hope that makes sense to you. Oh my god, the 10 minutes is up straight away, so it's up before I've even started. So hopefully keep going, and hopefully these sessions are giving you a bit more of a positive outlook, thinking, yeah, I can actually do this. I really want to end this year for you all where you're like, yeah, I can do this. Not wait for like New Year's 2024, let's have a New Year's resolution and sort of fail at the first hurdle. Let's start our New Year's resolutions when it comes to our dogs now, so that we've got like the whole of Christmas, with the whole holiday, to get a little bit of consistency going as well. And I know what you're all thinking, oh my god, Christmas is frantic for me. Yes, it is. But if we go into Christmas thinking, right, small sessions every single day, you can achieve that, and then you're not going to feel like that holiday was wasted either. We've got a podcast coming out tomorrow for all of you that are listening. It's with a vet, and it's about obesity in our gun dogs. It's really relevant to Christmas because it talks about us giving them lots of treats and stuff, so have a listen to that tomorrow as well. Hopefully you have all registered. Please let me know, like just write registered or no, I need the link or whatever. If you have registered for the free webinar on the 6th of December, from frazzled to focused trainer, I'm going to be training with you for 30 minutes. It's going to be absolutely incredible. We're going to cover loads and loads of stuff, and at the end I've got a little bit of exciting news for you as well too. Right at the very end, and some bonuses that you're not going to want to miss. So try to make sure you're on it live, because people who are on it live will get advantage of the bonuses. And I'll join you all tomorrow, hopefully at 8 o'clock for our last session. I know on Friday nights a lot of you might be busy again, so don't panic if you don't join me. I'd love for you to join me, but if you don't, the recordings are going to stay on this page, okay? These lives aren't going anywhere. If you are a member, it's already on your dashboard. Go to your dashboard. It says from frazzled to focused trainer, and I'm putting them in every single day, and the webinar will go there as well, so you can find them in a heartbeat. If you're not one of our members and you don't have access to our study hub, they are on this page so that you can access them too. They're not going to be taken away from anyone. So I hope that's everything. Any questions, anything that you would like me to sort of mention tomorrow or anything like that, just pop it in. I've got a little bit more time tomorrow. If there's any sort of questions and answers that you've got from the week, we can pop them in there for you too. If you are listening on Instagram, I can see lots of you are. If you write frazzled in the comments, it will automatically send you the link to the webinar. If you are not on Instagram and you are on Facebook, there should be a link at the top of the comments. Just scroll back up through the comments, you'll find the link and you can register there, okay? We aren't a spammy company. In fact, I meant to send out a weekly newsletter. Sometimes it goes out fortnightly, sometimes it goes out monthly, because I'm not the best at getting around to the newsletters. Please don't think we're going to send you like 1,000 emails a day. We're not that type of company. We never will be. And I hope you all have a fantastic Thursday evening. I'm going to end the call now. I hope that's been helpful to you all, and I shall speak to you all tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Good night. Everybody. Hopefully I have signed in perfectly on Facebook. If you are listening in the comments, please give me some sort of like thumbs up, some love, so I can see that you're able to listen fine. Also, if you are on Instagram, hello. If you can just hear me, just give me some, like, same thing, some love, some hearts, so that I can see that it's all working on Instagram. Oh yeah, that's you. Hello, hello. Hiya Sarah, hiya Joe. Oh, fab. All of you can see me. That's absolutely fabulous. So, if you haven't joined us for one of these lives before, my name is Joe Parrott. I'm the founder of the Ladies Working Dog Group. And normally we do these types of trainings inside of our membership, but we thought we'd sort of pop out. I say a royal we because I'm out here on my own. Normally I'm joined by 4 amazing experts and we do this together. But for tonight I'm flying solo on this one, as have been doing so all week. So, if you've been with me for all 5 nights, please let me know, just like for 5 or 4, or however many you've been with me, just so I can see how many you've been with me for. That'd be absolutely fabulous. Hi Claire, hi Julie, hi Sheila. Loads of you logging in. This is absolutely exciting. I didn't think I'd get loads of people on a Friday night, but it's really nice to see you join me. Again, it's going to be really short, 10-15 minutes. That's all it's going to be. And then I will leave you to your lovely evenings. So tonight we're going to be talking all about who is to blame, me or the dog. And this is something that I think we see in the group. And I think most of our ladies tend to blame themselves, okay? But some people, you may be out, you might be thinking, actually, it's the dog. I just can't do anything with this dog, yeah? Or if I had that dog, I'd be better. You know, we've got this like sort of, I call it comparisonitis, where you're like, oh, well, that dog's doing this, and that would be a better dog, and my dog's not doing that. So we start to like compare and judge and criticize ourselves based on everything else that's going around us, okay? And if we go back to like Monday night, okay, now like I said, I don't normally fly solo on these things whatsoever. So Monday I thought I was on Facebook, so I was like yabbering away like I am to you guys now. I wasn't on Facebook, I'd set it up wrong. Also I thought I was on Instagram talking to you guys that I'm talking to on Instagram now. However, I wasn't, because my camera was facing the wrong way. So my camera was facing the computer screen and I was literally talking to no one. Some people could hear me on Instagram and that's as good as it got, okay? So it'd been really easy for me at that point, because I was already incredibly nervous and wound by the whole situation anyway, to go, I'm not doing this. That is it. I am not good at this is all my fault, why don't I know how to use the technology, I should be better than this, and I could have gone down this whole like negative spiral of it all being my problem, okay? I could blame myself. Or I could have been like, stupid technology, it's their fault, why doesn't Facebook make this easier, why didn't Instagram tell me that I was facing the wrong way, and I could have blamed the technology. And I think it's natural to want to blame, but blame doesn't get us any further forward. So instead, I took a deep breath, red in the face, looked a bit like an elf, and I literally just got back on and did it again on Facebook, okay? And I just thought, right, Instagram, you've heard of me, I won't go back on there. Facebook, I'll just redo it all again. And I just got back on and I redid it. And I think that's sort of the mentality we need to have with our dogs. The self-criticism, the self-judgment, the blaming the dog, the blaming ourselves, it really doesn't help us move forward. To move forward, we must just get on and do something else. Does that make sense? If you like understanding me and agree with me, like put some likes, whatever you want to, so that I can see that I'm, you know, going along with you on this one. And I think it's really important to understand there is no good or bad learning. Now that sounds really weird, doesn't it? Because you think, well actually, if I've had a dreadful time with my dog, that's bad. Well, it's not. It's just learning, and it's what you take from it. It's the reflection afterwards. So if we go back to my Monday night episode, after that I learned loads. And if I look at myself Friday night, like tonight coming on here, I'm still a little bit nervous. It's quite odd talking to a lot of people that when you don't actually know who I'm actually talking to. When we do this in the group, I know the members, I can see their faces, we're normally on Zoom. It's a friendly environment, whereas here I'm like, I could be talking to anyone, anywhere in the world. In fact, where are you in the world? That'd be quite an interesting thing to put into the comments. But anyway, back to where I was. So there's no good or bad, there is just learning. So it's what you take from it. So Friday tonight, I'm like, absolutely fine with the technology. I've made improvements how I use the technology. I'm thinking about, if I ever do this again, how I'm going to make it better, how I'm going to use it better. Again, doesn't mean they're the good ones, they're just so good, you know. I've learned from those. This is what was good, this was what was bad. So I hope that sort of like makes sense to everybody. I think you've got to really think about the negative effects of blaming yourselves as well. Think about it now and just reflect on this for a second. Is there any benefit to you after something's going wrong of standing there and beating yourself up about it? Because the reality of it is, there probably isn't. You don't become a better trainer from standing there blaming yourself. Your dog doesn't become better from you sobbing in the car on your way home because you did something wrong. It's almost a pointless exercise. And if you take a little bit of a breath and think about that for a minute, and like not laugh at yourself, but like just think, actually, why do I do that? That's not getting me anywhere at all. In fact, it's doing the complete opposite. Because every time you start playing the blame game, you or the dog, that's all you do is push your confidence back. So if I'm there going, dog, this is all your fault, then I'm going to push myself back because I'm not going to believe or trust in my dog. If I'm standing there going, Joe, this is all your fault, I'm not going to believe or trust myself. Yeah? So we should all be thinking about non-judgmental training, learning episodes. What went well? What didn't go so well? What can I take from this environment? We've got to really have as well a problem-solving approach, okay? So we really can't go into this and thinking, well, it's going wrong, I'm going to keep on going wrong, it's always going wrong, yeah? So sometimes I see people and they're like telling me the same story. Like, you guys know these people, right? I don't think you guys are these people because you're on here and you want to learn, and I think that sort of separates the wheat from the chaff. The people who want to learn to the people who don't want to learn, if that makes sense. But if you think about it, the people you know who like constantly, you hear them, they're just moaning all the time about the same things, and you literally want to go, well, change something then. And I can remember somebody telling me, I think it was like in some sort of training, they said, if you don't like it, move. You are not a tree. Move. And I'd be like, actually, that's quite right. We can change things. We're not stuck in a point in time. We can move forward. We can change how everything works for us. And a lot of it is about self-encouragement. Now, I know for us in the UK, sometimes we look and we're not like our best cheerleaders, are we? We're not like, yes, go me. It's not like in our nature to be that way. In fact, I think it's quite the opposite. I think we feel like we are building our own egos if we look at anything and say, I did really well on that, I'm really proud of that. It's almost like that's not a good thing to do. But it is a good thing to do, because the only way you are going to become better as a trainer, and like I've said in the week, you are all trainers. You are all, without doubt, trainers. You might not be professional trainers, training other people's dogs, but you are a trainer to your own dog, and that's really important. You like accept that and say, I am a trainer, I'm going to get on and get and do this, and I'm going to be positive about the steps I make forward, okay? And give yourself a little bit of a breathing space to learn something. You know, like I said to you, on Monday, and I didn't know what I was doing, if I'd given up then, we wouldn't be where we are today. You've got to give yourself breathing space. And I'm not going to go from this and think, oh, okay, I've mastered Facebook Lives now. Quite the opposite. I know when I do the next set of Facebook Lives, whenever they are, I'm going to be just as nervous as again. So I just review and I reflect, and we just go from there. I think as well, the importance of mindset, like, I think mindset's got a bad name. I think it's getting better now. But sports people have always worked on their mindset, and we've always accepted that. So Olympians, they've always been there. They've always been working incredibly hard on their mindsets. And we're like, yes, go on, you can do this, because you can see what their results are. They become better athletes. They run faster. They swim faster, etc. But then I don't think we've been very quick to take that type of attitude into the mainstream, into our dog training, and think, actually, I've got to be really strong on my mindset on this. And one of those things with mindset is mindfulness. Now, when I was first introduced to mindfulness, I was like, what are you on about? Now, I've got to be honest, I'll hold my hands up. I'm quite quick to hold my hands up if I've been somebody who's poo-pooed something a little bit. I'm like, what do you mean mindfulness? And it's just about being present, and I think that's one of the biggest keys when we're training our dogs, is to be there with them. Not like we were saying about yesterday off, thinking about what should I get for the shopping, what's for tea, where have I got to go tomorrow, but just actually being there, being really aware of their body, what they're trying to tell us, what they're trying to do, because there is no good or bad dog. It's really, really funny we were covering in this topic tonight, because literally as we were doing some podcasts this week, we were like, should we do about bad dogs? And we were like, oh my God, isn't that mad how people can think the dog is bad? Like, put your hands up. Have you ever thought that your dog is bad? Like, just even, and when there's no judgment here, have you ever thought, yeah, he was really naughty then? And if you do put your hand up and you are confident enough to say, yeah, I have actually thought that, because I've thought it. I put my hand up. I thought, dog, you're just being naughty. But it's just got to be a glimmering thing, and then you've just got to turn around and say, let her go. You're never going to get rid of thoughts, but you've got to change the thought. Does that make sense to everyone? So you've got to be present with the dog, and if you have one of those thoughts that are negative and they're going to like take you down the wrong track, you've got to fix it straight away. Stop the stinking thinking, as they call it. Okay, so I hope that's helped you a little bit. Over the weekend, think about what things we've talked through the weeks. Well done, Cece, putting your hand up for it. Very, very good, awesome. Yeah, we've all done it. We've all thought, oh, dog. And we've all thought, oh, me. And it's how we take it and what we do with that, okay? So have a think about what we've done this week. Hopefully it's been of benefit to you. Hopefully these little pep talks have really, really helped you. If you don't normally listen to us, you're not part of the LWDG, hopefully you'll be interested in coming along and seeing what we're all about. That's not what this is about. This is all about training, but we are there. I know some people have asked. I've put it on the business page, how you can find us, where you can go, etc. Hopefully you'll all join me for the webinar on the 6th of December. On the 6th of December, I'm going to be covering two things with you that none of us have spoke about in the way I'm going to speak about on that webinar. In fact, the one thing, it's never been done before. It's a brand new thing that I want you guys to really, really like, get your heads around and really, really help you. I think it's something that once it's out there and you guys have got it and you've got the strength of it, you'll be like, oh wow, that was like a missing piece of a very big jigsaw that we're all doing together. So please make sure that you've registered for it. If you are listening on Instagram, if you write frazzled in the comments, you will automatically get sent the link so that you can join and register. It's an absolutely free webinar. There's no big sales pitch at the end for you to spend £5,000 and come on my yacht, I promise. I don't have a yacht, but it's literally, it's pure training for you. At the end, we'll just cover over a little bit for 5 or 10 minutes about something new that I've got coming that's super, super excited. Some of you already know about, but 25 minutes of that 30 minutes will all be training. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. Have a fantastic weekend. I hope to see you all very, very soon. I hope to see you all in the webinar, and we'll see you then. Good night, all. That's it for today's episode. A massive thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to head over to the LWDG and sign up for our membership. Get access to expert-led training, a wonderfully supportive community, and the resources you need to become a confident and skilled gun dog trainer. Let's take this journey together, because no woman should have to train her gun dog alone. We'll see you all next week.